What's going on, Whisper Nation? Welcome into episode 335 of TFW Live, where we keep that week one feeling going all year long. We're going to be talking news and notes from around the NFL, helping you get your lineup straight, touching in on the injury updates, as well as all of your start, sit, and trade questions. Maybe you got some more too. We won't limit it on this episode. As you know, I am Austin Sear and joined here by you, Whisper Nation. Great here to have you with me this Friday evening as we're getting into it. Lincoln was here, Jersey J stranded on second. Great to have you here as well as the rest of Whisper Nation that is going to be showing up. Got to give a shout out here to our YouTube members who support the show through their monthly subscriptions. Gus Ramos, Pizza Belly, Don Caples, Bailey Ziegler, Kevin Dobby, Nick, Brett Zabo, John Credit, Eric Lorenzen, Donnie Tubbs, Jersey J, and Hanimal. If you would like to join our growing list of YouTube members, click join next to the video. Also want to shout out those who followed us last week on social media, as well as our patrons who have been supporting the show throughout. We have our giveaway coming up next week. I believe Donnie will be back with us and making that one happen. If you love fantasy football and would enjoy being a part of a community where you know that you belong, go ahead and hit the subscribe button on this channel to do exactly that. We would be honored to have you here in Whisper Nation. Goal here, as always, is just to get one person stronger. One more sub by the end of the day would make my day. If you're new or you're old, let us know where you're streaming in from. Love to hear about where people are coming in. Calvin Brown, what's up, dude? Glad to have you here with us. Well, we got the intros done. Yes, we did. Let's take a little bit of time to talk about that game yesterday before we jump into the news and the notes. Washington and the Bears both ended up scoring points. Not a lot, but they did. The run game for Chicago looks to maintain relevancy. David Montgomery and finally Khalil Herbert getting involved, even if Montgomery's not out. I was encouraged to see that. Darnell Mooney with a healthy 12 targets, 68 yards from that. Like that, I was playing against Travis in our league of record. He had made a trade right before the game and picked up Mooney. You don't want to relive that game. We're going to get through it really fast, Jersey J. I was going to touch on some of the highlights that stood out to me. Let me know if you've got any that stood out to you. I like the run game in Chicago. I don't like the quarterback play from Justin Fields, but I did see the best game of the 2022 season out of Justin Fields the last night. Not advising starting Justin Fields outside of super deep, super flex leagues, but there might be some hope down the road. We'll see. Darnell Mooney would be the one wide receiver to have on your roster in the Bears uniforms, but still not advising starting him outside of really deep leagues. What's going on, Albert? Great to have you here with us. Nash saying the Bears looked better, but just couldn't pull it together. Yeah, right. And the Washington Durs, man, just this whole organization continues to show that it is not congealing from the top to the bottom. Ron Rivera kind of going off in a couple of different ways. We all heard the comments he made about why is Washington behind the rest of the NFC East teams? Quarterback, he says. Okay, this is coming from a division that's got Cooper Rush, Daniel Jones starting at quarterback. And I would like to argue coaching might be something to consider there. Ron Rivera, though, might see it a little bit differently. And then Carson Wentz looks like a streaming option. He looks like somewhat of a loose cannon. You might get some action out of him. You might get a subterranean game. That floor is real low. Scary Terry, not getting enough targets to really make you feel comfortable with him in that lineup. He has that huge playability, like his yards per reception numbers, but just not getting enough consistency out of that whole team. Speaking of lack of consistency, that backfield in Washington is going to be one to keep monitoring. I don't understand what Antonio Gibson did to Ron Rivera to be put in the doghouse like as soon as they signed Brian Robinson. All Antonio Gibson does is produce RB1 numbers for the Washington football team, the Washington Commanders, the Washington Redskins, whatever we're calling them now. He's been an RB1 his first 2 years. He puts up strong numbers his third season with a fractured shin through 14 games. Then Brian Robinson comes on. Ron Rivera falls in love with him, anoints him as the starter before any actual NFL action happens. Brian Robinson gets popped in the leg a few times. Brian Robinson is put on the shelf. Antonio Gibson steps back in. He does all right. And then now this game, we had Brian Robinson get the bulk of the carries. I think he just had 60 yards or so on 17 carries. Antonio Gibson was more efficient. And after the game, Ron Rivera said they're going to need to get Antonio Gibson more involved. That's on us coaches, he said. That's an us. Let's see if we have any other comments about this game. Nope. Oh, so this is for the Rams one. So no more comments about yesterday's game. Thank God. I'll take a quick look at some of these questions that we got brewing. But what we're going to be doing is jumping into news and notes from every single NFL team. We're going to be working from the Arizona Cardinals down to the aforementioned Washington Commanders, A to Z, getting all of the news and notes digested here and discussed. And I'm going to then be touching in on all of your lineup questions, trade questions, and otherwise. Make sure we'll get all of them done by the end of the show. If you do have a time crunch or just want to support the show, go ahead and hit us with a super chat, and I will get that question bumped up earlier for you. Ooh, a little squirting action from that rock star. How fun. All right, so looking at the questions, I'll take a look at these before we jump into the Arizona Cardinals. Welcome to the show, XM Tucci 7279. Ooh, actually, before I jump to that one, we got some more up atop, and I want to honor that. Jersey J asking, Eno Benjamin a lineup lock this week, starting him over, let's say, Stevenson type running back. Ooh, you picked two really great starts this week, Jersey J. I think Eno Benjamin is a lineup lock, outside of whoever else you got in your lineup. Am I starting Eno Benjamin over Kareem Hunt? Absolutely. Am I starting Eno Benjamin over James Robinson, Travis Etienne? You bet your bottom dollar. Am I starting him over Stevenson? That's tough. Last week, if you're asking me this question with Eno Benjamin getting all the work, presumably, I would say yes. But now Stevenson is in a similar situation to Eno Benjamin. And I think that Ramondre Stevenson is a legitimately very good running back. So I wouldn't be starting Eno Benjamin over Ramondre Stevenson per se, but I would be getting Eno Benjamin in lineups that I don't have a certified RB1 already in. I'm not surprised to see Eno Benjamin put up RB1 numbers given James Conner and Damian Williams are both going to be out. And I don't see anybody else on that roster competing with Eno. I'm not sold on my Cardinals, though. Like, I'm a Cardinals fan, grew up in Arizona. I think the spirit is off. It's hard for me to trust the Cardinals. It's hard for me to trust players in the Cardinals because I don't trust the Cardinals right now. You know what I mean? I think Cliff Kingsbury is a fake sharp. I think his time is over. I can't wait for them to move on. That triangle of Steve Keim, Cliff Kingsbury, and Kyler Murray, it's just not going to get it done. We need to break through, and I think Cliff Kingsbury is the one getting in the way. Mostert, if he remains healthy, is an RB1 rest of season. RB1 might be a little dramatic, but I like what Mostert brings to the table. I like the team that he plays for. Chase Edmonds doesn't look to be legitimate competition to that starting role for Mostert. I like Mostert. Let me take a quick look here before I speak words out of my face hole here. All right. I'm feeling Mostert is like pretty strong RB2 for you. The last couple of games, snap share 69%, nice, 72%, 15 carries, 18 carries, 69 yards, nice, 113 yards, a touchdown. In the last 2 games, he's averaged just over 15 points in PPR leagues. It's pretty good. He's overall RB35 in PPR. I don't think he's an RB1. I'm not putting him there, but I like him as an RB2 on this. All right, getting through the questions here before I jump into the news and notes. How did Brian Robinson look to me? He looked okay. He looked like he was benefiting from volume that maybe he's not going to continue to get if those comments after the game stand true. Ron Rivera saying that he wants to get Antonio Gibson more involved. I think that's smart. I think this whole situation is looking like a committee on a not a very good team. Yeah, the tutty saved his day. Didn't look awesome. I mean, running wise, he didn't look bad. There wasn't a lot of crazy opportunities for him, but he didn't make anything happen either. So just Just kind of typical production for a typical track. Nash saying Bears better look good. Couldn't pull it off. Yeah. All right, Albert. Mostert or Henderson, full point PPR. I think I'm rolling Henderson with the news of Cam Akers being out this game for personal reasons, and the rest of his opportunities on the team could be fading. I don't know. There's news to pay attention to in the Los Angeles Rams locker room, and what the hell is going on with Cam Akers? We'll see if we have any more updates. Get to that section here. Which two running backs should I trade in order to receive CeeDee Lamb and Josh Allen? My team is Russ, Wilson, Goff, Mixon, Dameon Pierce, Alvin Kamara, Hall, Pittman, Bateman, Dotson, Nico Collins, Knox, Conklin, 1 and 4 PPR. So you want to get CeeDee Lamb and Josh Allen. Which two running backs should you trade? I mean, we're going to start with the least viable ones for yourself and see if you can get as grand a deal as possible. You've got Mixon, I like him. Dameon Pierce, I like him. Kamara, I like him. Hall, I like him. Okay. In order, though, Dameon Pierce is the lowest of these four for me. The Texans offense, he has like been the lifeblood of this Texans offense. And there's a world where he keeps that going. I would just like Dameon Pierce a lot more if he played on a little bit better of an offense. It could be tough to find first downs for them. I like Hall next, then Kamara, then Joe Mixon. I would be fine though, probably making a deal on any of these guys. Kamara you might be able to pull some stuff out of there, and I'm okay getting rid of Kamara. Like, I've got him in my league of record. He's my first round selection. We'll see how the court news down the road ends up impacting him. I still think he's going to be fine from a legal standpoint, a suspension standpoint, but he's got the rib cartilage issue. There's signs of life coming out of this New Orleans offense with Taysom Hill and Andy Dalton, but it's not a for sure thing. And I could see the spirit being gone, and I could see Alvin Kamara kind of folding it up early. He's the one who has the most looming clouds, Alvin Kamara is, of these four running backs. So I like all four of these, but Josh Allen and CeeDee Lamb would be a big boost for you. Nico Collins, you can get rid of Nico Collins. If you could find some value for him, that'd be nice. Dawson Knox, same thing. Rashad Bateman also. He's dealing with the foot, and he didn't ever get like over 65% snap percentage, even when he was cooking at the beginning of the season. So I think there still could be some hype that you could sell. Because I don't know if the substance is going to keep coming. Now, it full well might, but there's a pathway where Rashad Bateman started off really strong, and that was a little bit more of a fluke than it really was a trend. Looks like it's going to be a committee rest of the season. Should I drop Brian Robinson for Henderson? Yes, you should. I don't need to say much more on that. Yes, you should. All right. So Lincoln was here asking, someone is offering me JT for Bateman, Jonathan Taylor for Bateman, 2023 first, 2024 first in Dynasty. Okay. I already have Kamara, CMC, Elliott, and Brian Robinson. It's also 1.5 tight end premium, and I have Kelsey and Andrews. Do I need JT? So you'd be starting Kamara, CMC, Elliott. Interesting. JT for Bateman. I think you come out ahead value-wise on this. Now, we need to see Jonathan Taylor have another Jonathan Taylor game, but I think Jonathan Taylor's worth 3 firsts. And Bateman, you could be selling as that third first right here. You don't need it, but I think you still do come up on value here when you can get such an elite type running back from Dynasty perspective. I mean, this dude was the number one running back in redraft formats, and he's still just like, is he even 23 years old yet? He's 23. Like, you got at least 3 more, maybe 4 more, maybe 5 more years out of Jonathan Taylor, the way I see it. You don't need it, but it's not a bad deal. And if you're able to stay active, you might come out ahead on value on that one. Jon Durst, excuse me. Welcome to the show. Great to have you here. I don't know if I've seen you here before. Welcome in. Should I trade Swift, Lockett, and Goddard for Eckler, London, and Higbee, full point PPR? Should I trade DeAndre Swift, Tyler Lockett, and Goddard? So you're giving away Swift, Lockett, and Goddard for Eckler, London, and Higbee. No. I think you can make a case for you're giving away the better of all three positions. I like Swift over Eckler. Like, Eckler has just been blowing the fuck up. Like, he's had a killer last couple of games, and he'll probably stay good. But Swift, before he went down, was doing Eckler-like things. So I think they're kind of like a push. Eckler has the value bump right now because he did just do it, and Swift is banged up and still on the IR. But I think they have similar play styles. Maybe I'm just getting a little thirsty, but I almost like Swift ahead of Eckler. Maybe I'm just like thirsty for the mystery box and the added youth on this one. I don't know. I like Lockett over London, though. Lockett's a straight up baller. I've said this in our League of Record chat like twice this last week. I am sorry, Tyler Lockett. I said a lot of disparaging things about you. I said your production was a result of the Bible study narrative you and Russell Wilson had rocking for several years. Now I think that Russell Wilson was the one benefiting from the Bible narrative between the two of the Bible study narrative that Lockett and Russell had going on. Lockett is a baller. He is that type of wide receiver. He's like the quintessential 5'10", not insanely fast, but insanely quick. Great hands, does what he's supposed to do. This is he's a back-end wide receiver one, just like straight up. And then the last one here, Goddard versus Higbee. Higbee's getting crazy amounts of targets. I think that Stafford's elbow is slowing him down a little, and you see tight ends become safety blankets for quarterbacks that are not 100%, maybe not able to like let it sling the way he was in the Calvin Johnson days. So I'm not into this, man. I would keep Swift, Lockett, and Goddard. But Jacob's on a bye. I have to start James Robinson and Benjamin. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. Benjamin is in an awesome spot. It'll be fun to watch. Cade Smith, Guy offered me Tyreek for Kenneth and Brandon Hooks. That's a give me right. Guy offered you Tyreek Hill and Kenneth Walker for Brandon Cooks. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This is someone making a very bad mistake. If you can lock it, it's almost like an immoral accept of the trade. It is so lopsided. One could make a case of immorality based on it. But hey, immorality doesn't get you points. Points get you points. And Tyreek Hill and Kenneth Walker are slotted to get you a lot more points than Brandon Cooks would. What's up, Jake and Ander? Who should I flex in PPR? J.K. Dobbins, James Robinson, or Rondale Moore? I'm leaning James Robinson, but let me take a quick peek here. J.K. Dobbins had 2 touchdowns 2 weeks ago against Buffalo. Outside of that, he had 63 yards. Last week, he had 44 yards. I think we kind of know what we're going to get out of J.K. Dobbins, and that's to be the second running back on a team that has Lamar Jackson. They have success playing the committee approach. John Harbaugh likes to do that. I'm hesitant on J.K. Dobbins. He would have to be insanely talented to actually grab some like sizable production from a fantasy standpoint. He's still recovering from that leg issue, that knee issue, all the issues. So I like James Robinson. And one thing I want to check on Rondale Moore. He's got upside for sure. And the Seattle matchup is a nice one. It's not going to be enough, though. The volatility that Rondale Moore brings is not ahead for me of the reliability James Robinson has. Even if James Robinson doesn't have a good day and he gets game scripted down, Rondale Moore, he's such a flasher. Like, I like James Robinson. I like the reliability of James Robinson versus the real lotto ticket of Rondale Moore. Thanks, Jersey J. Oh, that's a sharp. I appreciate the comments, guys. Fun to be here with you. Calvin Brown, non-PPR flex. Pick one. London, ETN, Boone, McKenzie. Non-PPR flex. Pick one. Drake London, Travis Etienne, Mike Boone, Isaiah McKenzie. I'm leaning ETN on this one. We've seen his snap share, his rushing share, his total fantasy points continue to increase. ETN looks better and better. I know I just gassed up James Robinson in the previous one, but ETN is looking like probably the back in Jacksonville rest of season, or at least it's really, really close. I need to see a little bit more out of Boone. London is awesome. Kyle Pitts is awesome. Arthur Smith is weird, man. I don't know why he's not getting the ball to his playmakers. I'm going ETN. What's up? Lincoln was here. Should I trade away Brian Robinson in Dynasty before his share drops? Depends on what you can get for him. If you can get, you probably got him in the 3rd round. At least that's where he went in our Dynasty League of Record. If you could get a presumed high 2nd round pick or better, yeah. I mean, I always say, like, if you can get a inflated value, trade Josh Allen, trade Jonathan Taylor, trade Jamar Chase. Like, stay fluid, stay like water, keep it going. I don't think it's a bad idea. Now, some people in your league are probably going to hear those Ron Rivera comments about wanting to bring Antonio Gibson more involved and that committee in Washington actually becoming more of a committee. Some people in your league will probably hear that and be steering away from Brian Robinson. Other people might just see the 17 carries and remember how much Brian Robinson got gassed up. Maybe they saw that video of Brian Robinson coming out of the tunnel with 50 cents. Man, amen. Man, amen, 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 amen. Maybe they saw that video, which was badass, and they're like, I'm in on Brian Robinson. Yeah, I would trade him because I do think his shares are going to drop. All right, what it do, baby? What's up, Squids, Giants? Chode, Knox, or Everett? Full point PPR this week with Waller on a bye. One thing I want to look at. Gerald Everett has bummed me out. He bummed me out last week with his dutter, 1 catch, 2 yards. But I'm not on Knox. That's in relation to his preseason hype. Knox has had 75% snap share 2 weeks ago, 71%, 69 nice, 86% going back to week 1. He's got no injury designation this week. If it's in my lineup, I'm waiting to see any news that comes out. How we got Keenan Allen too? I haven't gotten to the news and notes yet, guys. Keenan Allen staying limited. I don't think he plays. I honestly, man, I'm leaning Everett by 51 to 49%. I'm so close on this one. It's such a toss-up. When I get through the news and notes here, maybe something's going to come up that is going to shift that needle for me just a little. But right now, these two guys are so close. They both have upside. They both demonstrated their floors already this season. Very similar situations. Christy, I'm trying to trade Sutton and James Robinson for one of these players. Who would you pick rest of season? Tyreek or Debo? Ooh. Fun. If you've got this already queued up, this is going to be great. I like either one of these guys for your deal. Cortland Sutton and James Robinson for either Tyreek or Debo. Very cool. Very cool. They're both kind of main veins for their offense. I think I got to go Debo because he's like the heart and soul of the team, unquestioned. It's already happened. I actually think Tyreek Hill is kind of looking like the #1 captain on the squad. I love the comment we heard come out of the Miami Dolphins locker room where Mike McDaniel praised the captains for getting rid of the ping pong table. And then Captain Tyreek Hill is like, yeah, we only got rid of it because it had a dent in it. We got a custom ping pong table already ordered for the team tournament coming up. So like Tyreek Hill, he's been such a character. He's been gassing up everybody, saying Mike McDaniel going to need a wheelbarrow to carry his giant nuts, his cocajones, as Tyreek Hill describes them. He also said Tua had some big cocajones. Said that he's got the best ball he's ever seen. Like, I love what Tyreek Hill's been doing as the central focus of the squad, but Debo's doing it again, and he's already got a year of success with it under his belt in a 49ers uniform. It's Debo for me, but just by such a slight amount. If you were like a Tyreek Hill stan, I would say just go with your heart, make yourself happy. Straight out second, Waddle hasn't produced last 2 weeks. Thin line. I think you said. Starting Duvernay in his spot this week. Thoughts, Will Bear? I'm starting Waddle still. His talent is undeniable. The team's got him scaled out there. And love you, baby. And Duvernay is all right, but you're expecting him to come in and fill in for Bateman, and it's tough to trust pass catchers outside of Mark Andrews in Baltimore uniforms. All right. I read that Tyreek trade wrong. Oh, what did I get? I'll try to find that back. I'm going to keep working through the ones. Let me know what I got wrong on that one, because I'm working my way down the comments. What's up, Gus? What's up, Ronald? Brian Robinson take, 17 carries is nice. The 60-something yards is inefficient. Antonio Gibson did demonstrate efficiency. Ron Rivera, after the game, the guy who'd been gassing up Brian Robinson like he was his grandma, said that they probably need to get Antonio Gibson more involved. That's on us coaches, he said. Yeah, us. It's me who picked Carson Wentz, but it's us who benched Antonio Gibson. All right, Ron, I hope everything's going all right in your life. Hunt or Dobbins in the flex? I like Kareem Hunt. He's got over 10 carries in every single game. The run game is kicking ass for the Browns, and I'm just a little concerned about the run situation in Baltimore, as we always are. Did I break up with the guys? No, I just got this one, man. I'm just happy to be here with you. All right. Bam Bo, welcome in. Just traded Garrett Wilson and Rex Burkhead for Darrell Henderson. Thoughts? Just traded. So you traded away Garrett Wilson and Rex Burkhead, and you got Darrell Henderson. I like this. I hope you had seen, I hope the guy with trading away Darrell Henderson had seen the Cam Akers news about him potentially like not being with the team moving forward, and not this week for sure. Because if he didn't, he's going to be bummed. But I like this for you. Garrett Wilson is nice, but I'll tell you, Elijah Moore is nice. Corey Davis is nice. Breece Hall is nice. Tyler Conklin ain't bad. Michael Carter ain't bad. There's a lot of mouths to feed over there in New York. And Rex Burkhead, I don't want him on my team. He's just taking up space. So yeah, nicely done. Darrell Henderson he is the starting running back for the Super Bowl champs, a team that we have slotted as a good offense. They're not looking like a good offense, but we think they're going to get better. Austin, one more, bro. Keep them coming. Njoku against the Pats, who give up the most points, most PPR points to tight ends, or a banged up but consistent Higbee. I'm going to Njoku, man. I traded Njoku. I traded for Njoku, and I'm starting him with Glee. I like Higbee too, man. It's not a bad take. And actually, I'm speaking just personally on this. I'm not actually giving you like an analysis. I'm just fanboying out on Njoku because I've been like kind of chubby for him for years. But let's see about. I want to just take one more look on Higbee. Bro's been such a freaking target monster. 10 targets, 14 targets, 4 targets, 9, 11 targets. He's averaging a lot. But Njoku ain't bad either, right? 6 targets, 7 targets, 10 targets, and he does more with those targets. I think I'm taking the talent in Njoku. I am a little bit biased. I am rooting for Njoku horde, but he's the clear number 2 behind Amari Cooper. He's a central vein in this passing attack. Higbee is too, but I think he's like a consolation. He's a fallback for a fallen Stafford. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think Stafford wants to be going to Higbee. I think he wants to be going to Allen Robinson and Tutu Atwell, and isn't able to because his arm hurts. So Higbee's still going to keep benefiting from that, but Njoku's, I mean, he was drafted in the first round for a reason. Gus asking, if I bundle Brian Robinson and AJ Dillon, what running back or wide receiver can I get? I would get at least a high end RB2, back end wide receiver 1. Throw me some examples, and I'll tell you what I think on these ones. I'm going to keep working through the questions though, and then get to the news and notes. Would have kept Wilson and then just dropped Burkhead for the roster spot. Yeah, right. All right. Bellinger. Thoughts on Bellinger? I traded for him in an early mid 2023 and gave away Romeo Dynasty 1.5 tight end premium as a stash. What are your honest thoughts? Something in my gut told me to jump off Romeo. I like Romeo this year. At least. Let's see one thing. You traded for him, and you traded for Daniel Bellinger with the Giants and an early to mid 2023, and you gave away Romeo in Dynasty. I don't hate it, honestly, because Romeo, you picked him. You didn't spend a first or a second or a third round pick on Romeo, right? So you're coming up majorly on value. I don't think Bellinger is an answer for you, man. I don't honestly care about Daniel on my lineup. He's rostered in 6% of leagues, for a reason. And I'm not high on any of the dynasty value, but I love that pick. Like, just straight up getting rid of Romeo for a first round pick is sexy. Oh, it's a second round pick? Still okay. Still okay. Not as sexy. You're the best, Freak Stomper. I played more peekaboo with you, but I can't hold. Just kidding. Gotcha. Okay, Smith, thanks for clarifying here. I misread my question. I get Tyreek. I give him Brandon Cooks and Kenneth Walker. Ooh. I'm really high on Kenneth Walker. Now, I do say if you can trade hype for substance, do it. But Kenneth Walker is a little bit more than hype for me. We saw him bust out one of the biggest runs of the season last week. We saw him make a great highlight play 2 weeks before that. He hasn't had a lot of opportunity, and he's had highlights with all the opportunities that he's gotten. Each week he's had a legitimate stack of opportunities. He's done something really impressive. I don't hate it, man. I don't hate it at all. I think it's a pretty even trade, though. I don't think it was a smash run away like I did earlier. Yeah, that would have been crazy. All right, Bambo. Choose 3. My flexes: Henderson, Romeo, Rondale, Keenan, McKenzie. Choose 3 for my flexes: Henderson, Romeo, Rondale Moore, Keenan Allen, McKenzie. Going Henderson. I'm going Romeo. I don't think Keenan Allen. We'll see about Keenan Allen if he's active or not. Between McKenzie and Romeo. Let me just look at McKenzie here. One thing. That's Isaiah McKenzie. No injury designation. He's got 3 touchdowns in 4 games that he's played. I like that. But his target share is low. I think I'm going with your first 3: Henderson, Romeo, and Rondale. That's right. Let's go to Joku. Would I start Conklin versus Green Bay, Otten versus Pitt, or Henry versus Cleveland? What's Henry been like here? Always mix up Derrick Henry and Hunter Henry. Hunter Henry's been really involved. 98% snap share last week, 84% snap share the week before that. Low targets and catches, though. 4 catches, 54 yards, 2 catches for 13 yards the week before that. He's on an uptick right now, but he's not looking very good. Keep Otten. Cade Otten is splitting time, I presume, with Cameron Brate, but we were told Cade Otten would be the tight end. He at least was last week. 94% snap share, 7 targets, 6 catches for 43 yards. To me, Conklin brings the biggest upside. He didn't have a catch last week, but he almost had one really far down the field. I think I'm leaning Otten and then Conklin and then Henry on this, but they're really close, Bam. I wouldn't laugh. Welcome to fantasy. Love you coming here. Love new people getting involved in this awesome game based on a game. It's super fun and traumatizing and exhilarating. New to fantasy this year with Waller on my bye. My choices at tight end are Schultz or Taysom Hill. That's Taysom Hill, baby. There are only 2 tight ends in fantasy with more upside than Taysom Hill, and that is Travis Kelce and Mark Andrews. Taysom Hill has a subterranean floor as well because he's not like a tight end. He's what coaches wanted Tim Tebow to become. He's like a full jack of all trades. This 32-year-old dude is rushing for 3 touchdowns, throwing for a 4th, and returning punts. And he's not like crazy fast or like exceptionally strong. He's just doing all of it. They get him involved. He looked like the lifeblood of the offense ahead of Alvin Kamara. The announcers were saying it should have been Taysom Hill in the victory formation taking the knee, not Andy Dalton, even though Andy Dalton was the quarterback. I like Taysom Hill ahead of Schultz. Schultz is looking very depressing. All right, Jersey J here. Keep them coming. Benjamin, Mostert, Olave play 2 full point PPR. We got to monitor Olave. He's not for sure playing, recovering from that concussion last week that he had securing that touchdown. I like Eno a lot. I'm in on Eno. I like Mostert too. Now, Olave gets the bump because we do know Jarvis Landry and Michael Thomas are out. And Olave did well with Andy Dalton, who's also going to be the starter for New Orleans this week. I think I go Benjamin and Olave, given that he plays. And then Mostert's a very nice fill-in if he doesn't. What's up, Adam? Who should I drop on my bench to stream the Pats next week? Michael Carter, Alexander Madison, Romeo, Boone, Pierce. Who should I drop on my bench to stream the Pats next week? Okay. Madison is the only one who's not guaranteed action, but he's a really nice handcuff for a Dalvin Cook who's injured, who's got that shoulder's high rate of re-aggravation. So Madison is, you want to hold Madison if you can. What time did the Vikings play on? Because if the Vikings play earlier on, you might be able to like just see what happens with Dalvin and then drop Dalvin. But I don't know if the timing lines up for you on that. You know what I'm saying? Like hold Madison, and if Dalvin Cook makes it through the game unscathed, then drop Madison to pick up the Pats defense. Michael Carter's on the way out. It looks like Breece Hall is getting more and more action. Looks like he's taking over. Alec Pierce is a nice fill-in. But you know, if you're in a normal size league, Alec Pierce is nice, but I don't think Alec Pierce is going to become an answer for you. I think he's going to become like a fill-in guy. I think he'll be that number 2 option for the Colts, but I don't think we're going to see Alec Pierce become a stud this year, if you will. I like Alec Pierce a lot long term. I had him ahead of where he was going in dynasty rookie drafts, but I just don't see him becoming like a dude like these other guys possibly could. Carter, Madison, Pierce. Those are the ones that get consideration for me. All right. What up, Cade? What about he's giving me Tyreek and Zeke or Harris for Dameon Pierce? What about he giving me Tyreek and Zeke or Harris for Dameon Pierce? I think I'd be all right on this one. Dameon Pierce, I think he's really good, but that offense is not great. So he's going to have down games, and Tyreek is excellent. I do like this, actually, because I think Tyreek is the best player in this deal, and you're still getting some support at running back. So let's go. All right. What's up, Visionary TMC? Can I have a thought about a trade that's gone down in the league? Absolutely. Throw them my way. Cade saying my backs are Saquon, Henry, Breece, Damian, and Kenneth. Those are nice. Yeah, leaning Madison. The only concern you have is Dalvin Cook, destroying his shoulder, being out for the rest of the year, and then Madison's an RB1 who you just threw on the waiver. I get it, though. What up, Riders? Would you give up Eckler and Henderson for Kupp and Pickens, half-point PPR? Would I give up Austin Eckler and Darrell Henderson for Cooper Kupp and George Pickens in a half-point PPR? This is a good question. Would I give up Austin Eckler and Darrell Henderson for Kupp and Pickens? I don't think I am, man. Eckler is doing really good work. Henderson is the most valuable he's been today all season, and he's shown that he can get it done for you also. Kupp is nice, but he's a little bit banged up, and Pickens, I like his upside, but he's still not a consistent, reliable piece for you. So I don't think I would. All right. Let's see. Rounding out this, my other backs are ETN, Damian Harris, Eno Benjamin, Brian Robinson. Eno's nice for now, but he's probably not going to be reliable all season. Same thing with Brian Robinson. Damian Harris, I mean, he might play this week, but he also might be out for like a month. I would hold on to the running backs that you've got. I think you're starting Henderson and Eckler ahead of all of these guys. I would do it. All right. Let's see here. I think this is the last question here. Then I'm going to jump to the news. I love these questions. They've been great, guys. What are our thoughts on starting Danny Dimes over Trevor Lawrence this week? Well, the Giants, they play Baltimore this week. Kind of like that matchup. Daniel Jones, number 14 overall quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, 15 overall quarterback. They both had some ups and downs. Very even situation. I don't have a problem if you want to do it. I think Lawrence is primed for a bounce back. He's had crazy amounts of turnovers the last 2 weeks. And this just might be the hopeful side of me being like, I think he's going to like pull together and have a really sharp game. I think he's a better talent than Danny Dimes is. But I've got no problems if you wanted to start Danny Dimes on this one. All right. So with that said, let's see what we've got in store here for our news from around the league. Let's take a look here. We're on Arizona. Darrell Williams, we already know he's not going to play. James Conner, he's not going to play. And that is the notable updates there. Yeah, get your Eno Benjamins fired up. A lot of great questions in the chat related to Eno Benjamin. I really like him this week. The Falcons haven't liked them this year. What's going on, Arthur Smith? All right, Kyle Pitts, hamstrings, got him questionable week 6 against the 49ers. I have him in a league with Njoku. I'm playing Njoku over Kyle Pitts, even if Kyle Pitts is active, and I'm keeping my fingers, toes, and butt cheeks crossed that Kyle Pitts can come in and do what we all hope that he would do. At least just start feeding him the rock. Give him the chance. And that looks all like all of the notable news there out of Atlanta. Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens. Justice Hill's hamstring is making him doubtful for week 6. Who cares? Little uptick, I guess, for your J.K. Dobbins. But J.K. Dobbins is like flex status for me, and I'm not excited to play him. He needs touchdowns to make your day, it looks like. We'll see how that progresses. Rashad Bateman, he's not going to play. He's dealing with a foot injury. Gus Edwards, returning getting close to returning. It's not going to be good for J.K. Dobbins rosters. Duvernay, we expect to be filling in for Rashad Bateman. Start with caution. Buffalo Bills. Next team up, Dawson Knox was not on the injury report. You love to see it. I don't know if I love seeing him in my lineups, though, but hey, Jags are Jags. Get him in there. Just depends on who else you got. Oh, Tre'Davious White's coming back. That's nice. At least he's on his way. Isaiah McKenzie cleared the concussion protocol. Very glad to hear that. Nice. Fun to watch this Bills team play football at full strength. Carolina Panthers, they are without Matt Rule as their coach. We got PJ Walker, who's going to be starting for the Panthers. He said he's going to get it to his playmakers. I'm more interested to see what DJ Moore does this week than I have since week 1. Feeling good about CMC. Nobody else that I'm considering playing in that Carolina blue. Cincinnati Bengals, Hayden Hurst. He's been dealing with a groin issue. He's questionable week 6. Little elaboration. He got in 3 limited practices this week, and he has played through a questionable tag for 2 weeks in a row. He should be good to go on this one. Probably a 20% reduction in expectation, though, given that injury situation. T. Higgins questionable as well. Didn't do anything Wednesday, Thursday, limited session. I'm not feeling good about T. Higgins. Even if he's active, Zach Taylor said last week they were managing his reps so they could keep him with enough endurance for Sunday, like ankle endurance. I don't know. It sounds like they're trying to make more out of what T. Higgins has than is actually like physically possible. I think they should sit T. Higgins down for a little bit. Feeling really good about Jamar Chase, especially Marshawn Lattimore, defensive back for the Saints. He's going to be out as well. So I like Hayden Hurst a little bit more. Like on the diptych, I like Tyler Boyd. And Jamar Chase, of course, he hasn't hit this year. Popular buy low candidate. Yeah. I see more questions coming in. I'm rolling on these. So I'm going to keep with the news and notes. Hit me with a super chat, though. It flashes bright colors. I'll see that, and I will get to your question immediately. Well, as soon as I see it, and I'm done with the sentence at hand. But before that, I'm just going to keep working through our news and notes here. Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson, what are you doing, man? Watson's status remains unchanged. Okay, so we're looking like week 11 then. Denzel Ward not having an effect on any of our playmakers here. DPJ, popular streaming option. Your Chubb stock, your Njoku stock, your Hunt stock, your Amari Cooper stock. That all looks good. I'm feeling fun about that. The Dallas Cowboys. Dalton Schultz is not on the final injury report. This guy's a compiler, though. Like his top 5 finish last season wasn't a result of a man in exceptional physical abilities or anything. Like him and Dak just really linked up. And if he's not in a position to compile stats, he also played every single game. Like Dalton Schultz is he's a jag. Dak Prescott questionable for week 6. Interesting. The drumbeat of the team's beat reporters is that Prescott being questionable is a red herring and that Cooper Rush will start. Yeah, it seems like Cooper Rush. I don't know why they would rush this back, but it does seem like they want to get a little bit of a quarterback controversy going. Jerry Jones insinuated as much. We saw him enjoy the Tony Romo, Dak Prescott back and forth years ago, and it looks like he is stirring a little bit of that up as well. Everybody here in the show, man, it's great to have you. Do me a favor, too, if you like what you're listening to, hit me with the thumbs up on this one. It just allows us to connect with more people who love fantasy football, and that's like literally the thing I love to do more than anything on earth. Who drinks out of a can with a straw? What are you for? I don't know. I like this metal straw, man. You see this? I just like it. I don't know. Moving on to the next team, the Denver Broncos. Right. What do we got in the store for Broncos faithful? Russell Wilson he practiced in full on Friday. There's never serious doubt. I guess they're not playing fantasy. Mike Boone practicing full on Friday. Great news for the Boone backers who saw their man pick up 85 total yards on Thursday night. Melvin Gordon, neck ribs, was limited in Friday's practice. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like Melvin Gordon is going to be like, I don't know if they really want him there. I don't know. I'm not feeling super confident on Melvin Gordon. What do you guys think about Melvin Gordon? Oh, get away from here, website stuff. Block you. Bye-bye. All right, moving on. Where's this trackpad? Hold on a second, guys. Sorry. I got some of my straw juice on my trackpad, Ron. Now it's not moving as smoothly. Oh, now we're good, though. Now we're good. Melvin Gordon's always going to have the same role he's always had. Does that mean he's always going to be the number 2? Or does that mean he's just going to be getting a lot of action on this? We'll see. The Lions. I want them to do well. I know we all do, too. And this is coming from a Green Bay fan. All right. Anything notable? No, nothing notable. Monroe St. Brown, I hope his ankle's recovering well. Swift still out. Soon, though. My Green Bay Packers, Christian Watson. He's not going to play week 6 against the Jets. They're considering shutting him down for some time because of this lingering hamstring injury. Please do it. Just sit him out for 3 weeks. Get him in the second half of the season. Actually get him some meaningful reps with a body that is feeling good, or as good as one could have it feel. Aaron Rodgers was dealing with that thumb on his right hand, practiced on Thursday, full participant, came off the practice or the injury report. We like that. No other bits of concern. Houston Texans, Jordan Atkins, signing the active roster, irrelevant. OJ Howard, irrelevant. Just Brandon Cook's stats. Looks like there's no news to report out of Houston. Ooh, this is a prominent report. Jonathan Taylor, ankle, questionable for week 6 against the Jaguars. Taylor got in a second limited practice on Friday, which probably puts him on the optimistic side of questionable, but he's not out of the woods just yet. Frank Reich said he only had a chance to play earlier today. If Taylor does play, he'll remain on the RB1 borderline. At this point, he has to be considered truly questionable. All right, tune in on Sunday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. Travis is going to be going over more news and notes. We'll hopefully have some updated reports out of Indianapolis. Nyheim Hines, questionable week 6, recovering from a concussion. He did practice in full on Friday. That's a good sign. Would you start Nyheim Hines in your lineup if Taylor's out? That's an interesting question. And that's all the interesting news. Okay. Moving on. Jacksonville Jaguars, Marvin Jones dealing with a hamstring. It's making him questionable for week 6. Was not listed on the final injury report on Friday. That's good news for Trevor Lawrence. I don't think I'm enjoying starting Marvin Jones. I'm not excited about it. Zay Jones has been the Jones to start out of Jacksonville if you had to go with one, but his ankle has been lingering. Questionable week 6, limited practice throughout the week. Played through his ankle issue in week 5, but only caught 3 of his 8 targets for 12 yards. Tune in on Sunday. Maybe we have some more information. I would steer away from Zay Jones, though, even if he is active. Christian Kirk and Travis Etienne, James Robinson would be the 3 I'd be looking to start. I'm pausing on Trevor Lawrence. He's on my bench in my league of record. The Chiefs, Harrison Butker, their kicker. He's going to be available week 6. Hannon, if you're listening. Whoop, whoop. Hannon in our league of record has like picked up Butker and dropped him like 3+ times. And he's gotten some of the funny emojis in the sleeper chat from how many times he's picked up and dropped Harrison Butker. But you could start Harrison Butker this week. Hoorah. And that's all the notable news. Oh, Isaiah Pacheco. I played you over Mike Boone. More people in the listener league said I should play Mike Boone. I didn't listen to him. I went with Isaiah Pacheco. I lost to Easy Daddy by 3 points. Yeah, that sucked. Dropped him. Las Vegas Raiders. Let's see what you got in store for us. Devontae Adams is charged with a misdemeanor. We knew that after shoving the cameraman. Probably not going to have any long-term impacts. Didn't mind seeing the fire out of Devontae Adams. Would have liked 3 more points, though. Beat Easy Daddy in that game once again. All right. That's enough. Moving on to the Chargers. Dude, what is up with all of these kicker injuries this season? I swear to God, we've had more starting kickers for their teams out or almost out or out for multiple games this year than I've ever seen. We just talked about Butker. Dustin Hopkins is the top of the list here. Sanders. No. Jake Elliott with the Eagles. Matt Prater with the Cardinals. A lot of kicker injuries. It's weird. I don't know. Dustin Hopkins, quad, limited on Thursday. I'm steering away from kickers. I don't know about you, but if I've got a kicker with a leg issue, like I'm just looking elsewhere. Keenan Allen, his hamstring, keeping him limited. That was as soon as yesterday. It's an estimation as the Chargers only did walkthroughs after a week of DNPs. This is an upgrade for Allen like that. Chargers coach Brandon Staley called him day-to-day on Tuesday, so we'll see how the hamstring responds to a limited session today. No updates from that. I'm leaning away from Keenan Allen, man, even if he plays. Now, if the question's like Garrett Wilson or Keenan Allen, I think I'd go with Keenan Allen if he's starting and we don't get any negative news reports between now and then. But I would be waiting and seeing on Keenan Allen before I'd have him in my lineup with enthusiasm. Moving on to the Los Angeles Rams, popular tight end Tyler Higbee. He's got an ankle issue. It's making him questionable this week against the Panthers. Sean McVay, head coach, said he was resting the tight end on Wednesday when he received a DNP, then said he would play when announcing the injury report on Friday. Okay, so he's going to play. Practice on Thursday. Easy tight end 1 play against the Panthers. Nice. Good stuff. Cooper Kupp is questionable. Looks like he's going to play. Maybe you temper your expectations just a little bit. This is the news that's wild. I haven't read this thing in full here. Cam Akers, Rams coach, Sean McVay said Cam Akers, personal, will not play in week 6 against the Panthers. There's also this from Jordan Rodrigue. McVay says team is working through the situation. And he also declined to say whether he believes Akers will be a part of the team in the future. Wowza. Darrell Henderson will probably lead a committee and regain a lot of his fantasy value this week. You'd hope so. And potentially in the future as well, as if Akers is out for longer than this. Anybody heard of anything going on with Akers? This is a bit of a bomb on this. I mean, your mind can go wild on this, right? Like he could be out for the season or something. I don't know. Was this criminal related? Was this domestic related? Were you gambling on games? Did you flirt with someone you shouldn't have? I don't know. Miami Dolphins, Raheem Mostert has been dealing with the knee issues, questionable for week 6 against the Vikings. More color to it. Mostert missed practice on Wednesday, but was upgraded to limited sessions on Thursday and Friday. The Dolphins are seemingly managing Mostert's practice reps given his history of knee issues. Barring an unforeseen setback, he should resume operating as the Dolphins' top runner in week 6. Okay, you like that? Hey, here we are, Jersey J. Solid bet for RB2 numbers. I like that. I think that's where he is appropriately placed. Jalen Waddle was removed from the week 6 injury report. He's going to play against the Vikings. He's dealing with that groin issue. Love to see him off the injury report. I hope there is no re-aggravation. He is so fucking fun to watch Jalen Waddle play. Tyreek Hill 2, foot quad, removed from the week 6 injury report. He's going to play also. Hopefully no re-aggravations. Hopefully we get to see the most exciting wide receiver duo in the NFL continue its thing. Minnesota Vikings. Alexander Mattison also dealing with a shoulder issue. He's questionable week 6 against the Dolphins. Kevin O'Connell said he expects Mattison to play on Sunday, but he'll have no real fantasy appeal with no guaranteed path to carries. That is because, of course, Dalvin Cook is active, but he does have a high risk of re-aggravation given that shoulder issue. So he's going to be in, but just temper some expectations. Would make some sense for them to involve one of their other running backs. Running back Ty Chandler is not going to be one involved, though, because he broke his thumb against the Bears. Sorry, Johnny. I know you picked him up in rookie dynasty draft. And that looks to be Irv Smith. We're just giving the stats on this one. So that's all the notable news out of Minnesota. I can't get the emoji on this. All right, we're at the New England Patriots. Jonnu Smith, he's questionable this week, but don't play him. Nelson Aguilar, hamstring, questionable week 6. I am not playing him. They've had weird wide receivers, though, with the Patriots, right? Like Nelson Aguilar's had some studly games. Devontae Parker's had some studly games. And then Jacoby Myers is like the number 8 overall wide receiver, maybe even better per Pro Football Focus. Donnie was feeding us these stats. It's like Jacoby Myers, like the weird situation. We got Zappy. Mac Jones is, I think, questionable. He's probably not going to play. Belichick's just playing games like he always does. Damian Harris is questionable week 6 against the Browns, dealing with the hamstring issue. Harris was limited throughout the week in practice. Here's where it gets a little tricky. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero suggested he would likely miss multiple games. Bill Belichick, who's known for playing games with injury reports, has him listed as questionable this week. Damian Harris probably doesn't play, but Damian Harris is a tough-ass dude, and they do keep reports on the low. So even if he was like doing better recovery-wise than we expected, you probably wouldn't hear a lot about that out of New England. So just stay tuned. Mac Jones, similar kind of thing. List him as questionable, but we don't think he's going to be jumping back into action this week, especially on a limited set of practices coming in. Sorry, Jotty. Yeah, fair enough. All right, with the Saints, it's a fun team to talk about. Jameis Winston, back ankle, questionable week 6. Andy Dalton, though, has been named the starter. We see that here. It's possible that Winston could be his backup on Sunday if he feels up to it. How much we'd read into this? It's kind of impossible to not read a little bit into it. Agreed. Dalton's play in week 6 now gets a little more interesting if Winston isn't ruled out. Such an interesting situation going on in New Orleans. It reminds me of a college team, and I kind of mean that in a good and a bad way. They're finding a way to get it done in New Orleans. You know, they've got their mobile weapon quarterback in Taysom Hill, who's technically a tight end. And then they got Andy Dalton, who is the quarterback, but, you know, the announcer was saying it should have been Taysom Hill behind center in the victory formation. And then you got Alvin Kamara, who is such an actual weapon for them, had like 170-something yards, just shy of 200 total yards, but no touchdowns because Taysom Hill got 3 rushing touchdowns and threw for another. So it's such a funny situation in New Orleans. I kind of hope they keep rolling. I like teams being creative. I like seeing teams try bold strategies, bold formations, bold depth chart alignments for different situations. And they're making it happen. They're winning games, or they won last game. They almost won that game in London after the double doinker. So I'm not a Jameis Winston fan, and I'm not a fan of what Alvin Kamara did to like that dude's face, but I am a fan of this New Orleans Saints offense continuing to be creative and find fun ways to win. Marshawn Lattimore is out. Abdomen issues keeping him out this week against the Bengals. That's good news for Jamar Chase, who they're playing up against, who presumably will be matched up against Marshawn Lattimore, and Marshawn Lattimore is good. Probably also good news for Chris Olave if he plays. If that defense for New Orleans is downtrodden and they're letting up more points, then the New Orleans Saints offense is going to have to keep chucking the rock to stay in it, and that presumably would benefit Chris Olave. Doesn't appear to have fully cleared concussion protocol yet, per Saints beat writers, but Olave's full practice is a step that he should at least have us on the optimistic side of questionable. It says if he did play, step into wide receiver 2 workloads, again with Michael Thomas and Jarvis Landry sidelined. So stay tuned. This is a very genuine news story here to stay tuned in. Chris Olave would have a big impact for the Saints offense should he be in. We got the battery case against Alvin Kamara going on. The victim is filing a civil suit as well. Really rough details on this one. I'm not going to jump into those, but it looks like there's no fantasy impact right now. Moving into next month, maybe we get some light. It's still looking like the impacts from Alvin Kamara's incident and potential crime will be impacting his 2023 season. Still could this year. Not looking likely, but, you know, still could. We'll see. Jarvis Landry is going to be out this week. Getting over to Jersey Jays Giants here. See what they got for us. Saquon Barkley's shoulder, keeping him on the injury report that he's now off that injury report. He's going to play against the Ravens. You're excited about that. He was limited this week. But the partial sessions, they suggest were load management related. It's off the injury report. Get Saquon in. He's going to do his thing. Is there any other player we want to start in New York? I'm just thinking without looking. Danny Dimes in deep-ass leagues, super flex leagues. Wan'Dale Robinson, questionable. I'm not playing him even if he's in. Kenny Golladay, nope. Kadarius Toney doesn't want to do his homework. You don't get to do fun things unless you don't do your homework. Yeah, moving on. What about Wan'Dale? But we love the Giants. Let's go, G-Men. Fun story. I love what Brian Dable's doing. I picked up Graham Gano, pulling for a Graham Gayes at the kicking position. Let's keep that top 5 performances going. Graham, I liked you in Carolina. I like you even better right now in New York. Staying in New York, but going from blue to green. Tyler Conklin was held without a catch last week. This isn't newsworthy. This is just sad. Admin Listener League. No news reports. This is good news because you remember Breece Hall was a little bit banged up last week. Some nicks and bruises. I think Saleh called it, but he was off the injury report for the knee and then balled out. So it doesn't look like we have any injury concerns for Breece, Michael Carter, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Corey Davis. That's good. And Zach Wilson. Like, he came back too. And so to hear no about re-aggravations, that's nice. Jake Elliott, we mentioned the kicker situations and all the injuries going on. He's off the injury report. Good stuff. Kenneth Gainwell's dealing with some rib issues, practicing full. Not a real big impact for you. Miles Sanders rosters, because even if Miles Sanders goes down, I'm not sold Kenneth Gainwell steps into a 1-for-1 situation. Okay. That's all of the noteworthy news this week out of Philadelphia. Going to Pittsburgh. Mika Fitzpatrick. He's not going to play. Not good for the Steelers defense. Little uptick there for your Chris Godwin shares, your Mike Evans shares, and even your wide receiving options for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like, I like Deontay Johnson a little bit more if your defense is worse. I don't think anyone's starting Chase Claypool, but he'd benefit there too. And George Pickens. Has anyone got the cojones to start George Pickens yet? I've got him rostered in my Liga record. I'm not going to put him over DK, but I'm looking forward to some buys coming around to actually get George Pickens in my lineup. Hope I don't regret saying that. Pat Freiermuth, concussion, keeping him out this week against the Bucs as well. Deontay Johnson's hip is not keeping him away from practice. He practiced in full on Thursday, getting limited sessions earlier in the week, full session yesterday. He's going to suit up. He's going to be in. I'm very curious to see how Deontay Johnson does with Kenny Pickett and a few weeks of actual preparation together. Okay. Almost through here, guys. Then I'm going to get to the rest of the questions that we got. So if you got any trade questions, lineup questions, what's for dinner questions, send them my way. I'll get to all of them before we log off here. With San Francisco 49ers, another kicker who's dealing with an injury, Robbie Gould. He's off the final injury report, though. That's good. Not seeing any news about any of our skill players here. Nothing about Debo. That's good. No re-aggravation concerns on George Kittle. That's good. I am curious about what the hell is going on with Elijah Mitchell. If anyone has heard about Elijah Mitchell, Freak Stomper, you're my 49ers fan in here. If anybody's got any news on Elijah Mitchell, let me know, because I haven't heard anything. TDP's listed as full participant. Wednesday's practice doesn't really make an impact for me at this point. That's all the news out of 49ers camps. See you, Kobe Kim. We'll get your question here in just a second after I get through the rest of the teams. Coming to the end of it. Drakey Young is removed from the injury report. Irrelevant for fantasy. Same with Dwayne Eskridge. Ooh, Tyler Lockett was added to the injury report. Why? Hamstring issue. Oh, shit. Limited session. The Seahawks do strange things with their injury report, but this would obviously suggest Lockett tweaked something in Thursday's session. How he bounces back on Friday will be key. Even another limited session would strongly suggest Lockett will be able to go against the Cardinals. If he is DNP, however, it will be time for fantasy managers to begin actively searching for a backup plan. Yeah, this is going to be a situation to continue to monitor. Tyler Lockett had a mid-week soft tissue flare-up. We don't know the severity of it. Wait and see. But prepare backup options. Drew Lock is nipping at Geno Smith's heels in practice. Good for Drew Lock. I hope he can get more to eat than just the ankle crumbs from Geno. Hey, Tony Jones got claimed. Makes sense. Kenneth Walker's going to be in. DJ Dallas, Travis Homer's on the IR. They like to have a set of backup running backs. Tony Jones. Makes sense to me. All right. 3 more squads here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Cameron Brate's concussion is not having him show up on the injury report. That's great. He'll be in there along with Cade Otton. Russell Gage is not on the injury report either. That's good. I don't know how close to 100% Russell Gage is. He has not been super active. He's been banged up since training camp. So is Julio Jones. Chris Godwin, though, is looking healthy. It's kind of weird because he's like been falling down. Trainers have been visiting him during games. But Chris Godwin is ahead of his recovery timetable. He's overcome other little nicks and bruises and whatever that it seems he's picked up during the games. Practiced in full on Friday. Brady's going to need him. Brady's a competitor. I like Godwin. I like Mike Evans this week. Cameron Brate and Cade Otton probably splitting work. I like Lenny Fournette as well. All right, 2 more squads before I jump to the rest of your questions. Kobe, Ronald, Jersey J, see him coming up there. Austin Hooper caught one of his lone target. God damn, I was really hoping Austin Hooper was going to give me more than he's given me this season, just as like a deep tight end pickup. It's not, though. Dropping my shares of Austin Hooper. Last squad here is the Washington Commanders. And you know what? We already talked about the Commanders because they were a part of yesterday's game. So we have gotten all the way through all the news and notes. Whisper Nation, if you liked what you've been listening to, please do me a favor and hit me with a thumbs up. Just helps the show grow and connect with more people who like fantasy football. And that's literally all I want to do. Now I'm going to scroll up and find where I left off on the questions, and we're going to get to all of them, folks. Where did I leave off here? Here we go. Ronald Collier, Melvin Gordon's going to have the same role he always had. 2-back committee, so Boone will play the Javonte role, but Gordon won't change. I think this could be right. I think that Boone could now be the 1A, and Gordon could be in a 1B, and we'll see how well Boone plays. We'll see if Gordon slips at all, and if that stays a 1A, 1B, or goes to a 1-2. We'll just have to wait and see. Cade Smith asks, Dameon Pierce or Kenneth Walker rest of season? Now you're asking me to... Dameon Pierce has played and looked really good. Walker has had extremely limited snaps, but has had a couple of highlights. It's hard for me to make a case against Kenneth Walker in this. Couple of reasons why. Kenneth Walker was taken just 1 pick after Breece Hall. Some people have him dubbed as the best running back in this class out of Michigan State. He's comped to LaDainian Tomlinson. Dameon Pierce, I think, was like a 4th or 5th round running back versus a 2nd round running back. Kenneth Walker just comes in with a lot more juice, and he's shown us highlights already. And now we presume Kenneth Walker is going to have the lion's share of the work, which Dameon Pierce already does have, right? I just expect Kenneth Walker to be able to do more with the opportunities he gets. I'm taking the Seattle offense over the Texans offense. I'm taking Geno over Davis Mills at quarterback. And Seattle still has not a great defense. They're going to have to stay active. And I think they're now that I say that out loud, that point could hurt Kenneth Walker because he doesn't have a ton of pass catching reputation to his name, but like it's not a concern. We just don't yet know how Pete will roll out DJ Dallas, Travis Homer when he comes back, maybe Tony Jones, who they just signed. I think I got to go Kenneth Walker. Rex Burkhead is still involved there for Dameon Pierce. I'm going to go with the talent and the upside of Kenneth Walker over Dameon Pierce, but I just talked a long time on it. It's pretty close. Let's see here. You always see someone's offering me Tyreek for Pierce. Want to see if I can offer Kenneth. Yeah, like if you're do whichever one you'd feel better about, man. The Pierce and Kenneth are pretty close for me. And I do have a little bit of a bias on Kenneth. I've liked Kenneth a lot going back to before him being drafted by Seattle. I just loved the film that he was putting down out of Washington State. He was an awesome runner. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you, Raul. I'd rather have Walker, honestly. But it's the mystery box line, right? It's like Dameon Pierce is doing it. Kenneth Walker, hell, he could do it. But obviously, we think he could do it a little bit better and a little bit more. Okay. Working through the questions, working through the comments. Love the chat popping off in here. This is fun. Bengals defense is no joke, though. Tough matchup for Olave. Here, your Jersey J. You would have guessed Michael Thomas would get hurt, right? Shocked. Kadarius Toney in school suspension for not doing his homework. Did you hear what Brian Dable said? It was like a couple of weeks ago. He was like, yeah, we're factoring. Tony's not going to play. We're factoring in, his health and some of the preparation leading up this week. And, we're taking all things considered. Yeah, the preparation for this week. That's like dude showed up late and didn't do his homework. So now he doesn't get to go to recess with his friends. Oh, pinky up, bro. I think I am a cretin. Shout out SpongeBob. What up, Kobe Kim? Dalvin Cook, Kenneth Walker for Saquon and Pollard. Do I win the trade? Okay. Dalvin Cook, Kenneth Walker for Saquon and Pollard. This is interesting. I gotta say it's tight, right? Because like Dalvin Cook was Johnny's 101 running back, like elite level running back in Dalvin Cook, who's a little banged up, but is also still kind of doing his thing. Kenneth Walker, we love the upside he brings. Pollard has been a disappointment this year, I'll call it. Saquon is right now the best player in this trade. I just taking all hypotheses off the table, magic 8-ball for future outcomes. Take it away. Saquon's the best player in this trade, and Pollard's not bad. So I think as long as they didn't like sacrifice all their depth, whoever acquired Saquon and Pollard, I'm going to give them the slight thumbs up as the winner on this side. But that could be wrong in 1 week. Like if Kenneth Walker comes out here and balls and Dalvin Cook's shoulder looks to be a non-issue. And I mean, Saquon's a little bit banged up himself. He's not on the injury report, but what was our major concern about Saquon coming in this year? He's a little bit banged up. They're going to keep riding him hard. The Giants are winning, and Saquon's a big reason why. So right now, I think whoever acquired Saquon and Pollard won this trade, but ask me this again in 2 weeks. Yeah, you did. You got Saquon. Nice. Have fun with that. Enjoy it. And hey, you can trade. You just traded Kenneth Walker's hype, right? Like, and I say trade the hype. Trade the hype for substance. Saquon Barkley is very substantial. All right. People need to say give my blank for their blank. It comes out how it comes out. It is kind of funny though how confusing it oftentimes gets. We've seen it all though. All right, Cade says someone has offered me Tyreek for Pierce or Walker, and I just don't know what to do. Someone has offered you Tyreek for Pierce or Walker. I'd like to know who the rest of your lineup is on this one, but I think I would go ahead and get the positional advantage of Tyreek Hill, especially in redraft. Like in Dynasty is a different subject, but in redraft, Tyreek is enthusiastic, and he is so freaking good. Have you heard other players in the NFL, defensive backs? I just heard Joe Burrow talk on him. Other wide receivers. I've heard multiple positions from other teams talk about Tyreek Hill and his speed, and they're like, it's just different. Like this guy is on another level of everybody else. So that's special. You like special. Pierce and Walker. Pierce is good. Walker could be special, but we just don't know. I think you take Tyreek. I'm hesitant to give away Walker because we don't know how good he is, but I am more stacked at running back than a wide receiver. I get it, man. I would go ahead and do it though. And I would probably try to give away Pierce just because he's been really, really good. And we'll see if he stays that good. We'll see if I would personally be leaning to give away Pierce over Walker, but I do have a little bit of a bias on Walker for a couple of reasons. So take that for what you will. Trade Pierce for Hill, yeah. I like it. Cade says, this is our last comment here. Full running backs and wide receivers. Saquon, Henry, Breece Hall, Dameon Pierce, Kenneth Walker. Very nice. Jamar Chase, A.J. Brown, Chris Olave, Deontay Johnson, Brandon Cooks. Okay. Saquon, Henry. Yeah, dude, do it. I like it. I like it a lot. You can get rid of Dameon Pierce, bring on another elite wide receiver. And then you've got Saquon, Henry, 2 elites. Breece is an RB1 right now. Kenneth could be. And then you get Jamar Chase, potentially elite wide receiver. Tyreek Hill, elite wide receiver. A.J. Brown, wide receiver 1. Olave, high-end wide receiver 2. Yes, do this. I like this. All right, Whisper Nation. I like this. I like you. I like spending my Friday evenings with you. This has been freaking awesome. If you haven't yet hit the thumbs up button and you like what you're listening to, please do me a favor. And if you want to catch our next shows, hit the subscribe button as well. We've got our Patreon giveaways coming up. Travi will be on Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. to do the lineup show. I won't be with you on this Sunday morning, but should be back again on Monday. Appreciate the love here. Thanks for subbing in, Cade. That's awesome. I'm really glad to hear that. Keep coming back. We do watch parties for the primetime games Monday, Thursday, and then watch the first half of some of the Sunday games. We do our live lineup show at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time. We'll kind of do it like this, answer a bunch of your questions before kickoff. And waiver wire show Tuesday afternoon. And yeah, that's what we do. All right. Oh, no. Looking a little... Wait. Oh, you clarified. It's like hefty. I'm like, hefty. I'm feeling actually kind of good fitness-wise. I'm feeling all right. Hefty Dahmer. No, then you appreciate the clarification. Whatever. The glasses, I'll take it. Wasn't a bad-looking dude. Bad dude. Not a bad-looking dude, though. Call it like it is. On behalf of Johnny Game Time Hicks, Big Travie, Donnie, our esteemed producer, you Whisper Nation, who I love so much, I'm all sincere. We're the Fantasy Whispers. We'll catch you next time. We're out. Peace.
Right here. Look at you go. You made it to the end of another one of our videos. Hey, if you still have some questions, I totally understand. Or you just want to join an awesome fantasy football community, head on over to our Discord chat. Link is in the description below. And if you're still not sold on us, check out one of these videos.